Hey, good weekend to you. Welcome to Leading Edge. I'm Jerry Anderson. Good to have you along. Hope you are having a Merry Christmas. Now, in this season of giving, we have a gift you can give to friends or coworkers or family members, whoever, while you get the great feeling of helping someone who proudly wore one of the uniforms of this country. That's ahead on Leading Edge. But first, we wind down this year. Let's face it, in a very different place from where we started this year. Yes, the COVID pandemic does remain with us, but if you recall, we wound down last year really with hopes for a then brand new, just approved, Pfizer approved December 17th of last year. We were all hoping for this new vaccine, but very few needles in arms 1 year ago. Also remember that millions more than today were sidelined from their jobs, and with fewer people working and paying taxes, leaders in government had to envision the worst, that they'd have to lay off huge chunks of workers, that the services those people provided would go away. Well, now we wind down 2021 in a very different place. And we read that county governments and state governments and city governments are just flush with cash. How'd that happen? It's just one of several questions we have today for Lucas County Commissioner Gary Byers, Democrat, former longtime judge, Maumee Municipal Court. Mr. Byers, welcome. Merry Christmas to you. I'm sure that many of those in office would respond to my question, how do we get there? By saying, hey, great management on our part, Jer. And of course, to which I would say, yeah, the government faucet spewed cash like it was water. So who'd be right, Commissioner?
Well, I think it's somewhere in between. If I had to answer, I mean, we started out this pandemic. The state was telling us that we could expect a 20% reduction in the amount of revenue that we were able to raise. And so we were going to all of the departments in the county, all of the elected officials in the county. We have about 3,000 employees in Lucas County, direct and indirect through some of the row offices. And we were trying to find ways that we could conserve. And then we found out a phenomenon happened that, in fact, people were staying home. They weren't spending as much money. And I call this the Amazon phenomenon, where all of a sudden people started buying things on Amazon and having them delivered to their homes, doing home projects that they could renovate because they were spending more time there. And all of a sudden, sales tax went up.
And you still cash on that. The county sales tax applies to all of that online spending we were doing at the time, right?
That's correct. So when it first started out with some of these online sales, we didn't get the tax. But in the last few years, we've been able to make those changes, and we have the benefit of that economy.
Now, on the city side of things, I know you know this, the mayor, Wade Capsicavich, just got his wish list for the Toledo rescue plan okayed by council. So first of all, how much money are we talking about on the city side, surplus wise to spend, and how will the county spend or invest or do whatever with that money?
Well, on the county side, we're looking at a total over the course of 2 years of about $83 million.
That's the number I read. Okay.
And we have found out that there are Treasury Department, the National Treasury Department has put specific limitations on how we can spend that money. And we have about 2 years that we can spend that money. So we're taking our time and trying to make sure that the benefit of this one-time money is maximized as much as we can for our community to make sure that we have long-term benefits for our community. So we'll probably roll out the county plan first quarter of 22.
All right. Well, in saying that, you were talking with this $83 million, we're talking the American Recovery Plan, a rescue plan it should be. Actually, we're also expecting, aren't we, Gary Byers, still more federal dollars from the infrastructure bill, the actual infrastructure bill that was passed, the roads, bridges, not the social spending thing that is hung up there in Washington.
One of the things, as far as the infrastructure that we're looking in, is that I expect that new electronic vehicles will become more prolific in the next couple years. Making charging stations as part of that is going to be one of our priorities, in addition to broadband and making sure that people have access to better internet than obviously I'm experiencing this morning.
I talked about how we have come back, but we've come partially back from the pandemic's worst days sometime in the spring of 2020. But there are still people out there smarting from the pandemic's effects, many to the point of having difficulty paying the rent, paying utilities. Earlier this month, you and the Board of Commissioners rolled out a renewed effort to help people with both rent and utility payments. Are we having problems finding people who need the help and who will apply for it?
No, but there are plenty of people in our community that need help. But we had limited time that we could have these dollars spent. And if we didn't spend it by a certain date, then we had to give it back. So we partnered with the city of Toledo. We have a portal that we utilize for folks to apply for this assistance. This assistance is broad in what we can use it for. We can use it for not only past rent, but also trying to utilities, all of the things that are necessary to avoid housing insecurity. All of those things that we have been able to do before, we're going to be able to do again. I think we assisted about 1,300 families in our community with the last tranche. This time, I would hope that we'd have something similar. And again, it made sense for the county to partner with the city because we had done it before. People were familiar with the access and how it worked. And we had the process set up. And
where do people go right now? If people out there, if somebody's out there hearing this saying, I need that help, where do they go?
There is a website. If you go to the city of Toledo's website, there is a link, I believe, to that assistance, and we can get that to them, or go to the county website as well.
He's Gary Byers, Lucas County Commissioner, Democrat. His name's going to be on the ballot next year. We're going to talk about that, and then some non-financial stuff. There are other issues out there in this county. We'll get into it next with Gary Byers on Leading Edge.